11 weeks until Christmas. I got my Conceal Coalition welcome package in the mail. And what that is, it's basically insurance for if you have to defend yourself. Because a lot of states, even though your rights are protected under the Second Amendment, or they should be, a lot of liberal district attorneys will still prosecute you for defending your life. So this basically ensures that I have a lawyer in the event that I have to use my firearm, and it also covers like fist fights too. Some people might say, don't you think blocking your name out on all of your mail before you throw it away is a little schizophrenic? To which I would say, what? Who said that? So no video last week because Jack was in town. We had a whole lot of fun. We went to a bunch of bars. We went to St. Charles. We went downtown Chicago. We got into a lot of trouble. One of the bars we went to, I think this one was in Chicago. Can't remember the name of it. But we were basically playing Jenga all night with these giant Jenga blocks that are made out of like 2x4s. And we met some girls and ended up getting one of their numbers, but they never responded, so whatever. But we had a whole lot of fun. It's definitely much needed little vacation for, you know, this week I worked 104 hours, which is pretty crazy, but saving a whole bunch of money. I've been working 18-hour days, sleeping 3.5 hours. It's not too terrible, except for like the last day or two. I'm really, really tired. And I didn't go to the gym this weekend because I was so exhausted just from doing my regular workouts during the weekend. You know, working 104 hours. So I decided to go out to the bars last night, find a couple new places. One bar I went to was in Elmhurst, which is like a town over. And I met this girl there. I think her name was Katie. And we started talking, and then of course her boyfriend came over and, you know, started questioning me, getting a little defensive, me talking to his girlfriend. But I ended up hanging out with them all night. We went to 2 other bars, and then we ended up going back to somebody's house and playing pool. And then I woke up there on the couch, and the guy was basically trying to like shove me out the door. But yeah, that was my weekend. I drank quite a bit last night. Probably not gonna drink alcohol until Christmas. I think I've had plenty. Couple of additions. I have switched out my 10-pound dumbbells to 15 pounds now that I'm building muscle. The 10 pounds wasn't cutting it anymore. So that's a good indicator that I am building muscle. I guess, you know, back when I was only eating like 1,600 calories a day, it was really limiting the amount of muscle I could build. So now that I'm eating on Sunday into Monday, and then Monday into Tuesday are my off days from working out. And on those days, I still only eat 1,600 calories. And then the rest of the work week, when I'm doing my workouts on my breaks, I'm eating 2,000 calories. And then I still need to build a routine diet for the weekends. I need to be eating 2,500 calories. So that's still in the works. And I also stopped getting fruit cocktail in a can because they use a bunch of artificial sweeteners for some reason. So Jack recommended that I just get freeze-dried fruit and honey. So that's what I did. And I also got some little applesauce cups. And I think what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be eating those and my cashews on my commute from Romeoville to back to Addison, from one job to the other, because I've been getting really tired driving on the road and I've been kind of nodding off a little bit. So as long as I'm, you know, doing something with my mouth and my hands, it keeps me awake and safe. I got a letter from Kevin. He sent me a bunch of hygiene stuff, which I'm gonna be using. And there was another thing he sent me. Where is it? It's like a water quality tester. So I'm actually excited to start carrying this around, because I'm curious as to like the type of water that my work is giving people. I guess we just dip it in. These instructions are in Chinese. I can't read Chinese. That's one language I will never even attempt. It's so, like, a lot of the words are exactly the same, and the only way you can distinguish them is through the inflection, like the or the and it's just, having to memorize all that's just ridiculous. Plus, Asian languages are just goofy. They're so much different than European languages. I really have no affinity to learn any of them. My Vietnamese friend Tran was telling me that I need to learn Vietnamese because native speakers can find really good work in Vietnam teaching people English. Back when I was in San Diego for Kelly's wedding, I went and had lunch with him. We met in tank school at Fort Benning, Georgia. Well, is it Fort Benning anymore? It's always going to be Fort Benning to me. This whole, like, renaming everything to get away from, like, Confederate generals or whatever, it's so fucking stupid. That's just my personal opinion, I guess. Let's see. I'm supposed to be coming to Lexington this weekend to get my suspension done finally, but the guy that I've already paid $800 to is not messaging me back. And it's really starting to frustrate me, because last time I was in town we were supposed to get it done, but this whole thing came up on his end where I don't want to talk about his personal business, but basically he got put in jail. And then he told me to pick any day and I'll come and he'll fully refund me and still do the work. And that's next weekend, so I messaged him yesterday and asked him if we're still good, and he hasn't messaged me back, which is starting to piss me off, not gonna lie. I'm not gonna have any time if I come into town to do anything virtually. I'm just gonna be working on my car and then leaving. Well, I'm gonna have to get an alignment done somewhere in town, and then I'm leaving. I'm not taking off Sunday night, so I won't be able to do Sunday supper. Well, let me think. Probably do brunch. Let's see, if we get out, it's a 6-hour drive. I work at 9 p.m. As long as I get good sleep that night. I don't know. It's kind of pushing it, because the last time I tried to do this, I ended up calling into work anyway because I was too tired. But I guess I won't be drinking or partying or anything. I'll just be working on my car. I don't know. If he gets back to me and I come into town, maybe we'll talk about doing brunch on Sunday instead of dinner, if everyone's schedule aligns. Or, honestly, we could probably just get brunch at the taco, because I assume Zach will be working. And we could just do, like, Mom and Jake and maybe Luke and Kyle or whoever. Last night at one of the bars, that group I was hanging out with, I kept buying them drinks because, you know, I'm a nice guy and I just worked a shit ton of overtime. So I can afford it. So I was buying them I bought them a few drinks, and they took that as they took it upon themselves in response to drag me around the bar and try to get me laid. It was funny just walking around and watching them. You know, it was embarrassing. And Pedialyte's is a lifesaver. I have started compiling a list of books that I need to download for, you know, my lecture series. And these are basically going to be like general histories of things like traditionalism or postmodernism that'll help me familiarize myself with the, you know, the historicity of these ideas from front to back. And I'll be able to, you know, I'll be able to identify the key figures within those texts that are routinely talked about. And then I'll take those key figures and I'll download all of their major works in PDF format. And then Jack and I are going to run them through a large language model AI to identify all of the proper nouns, events, places, people. And then I'll build my episodes in my lectures around what it occurs most frequently. That way, you know, throughout all of the texts. That way, all of the relevant information is covered. It helps people contextualize it a little bit better. And then these books that I'm downloading, I think I'm going to experiment with 11 Labs AI model. And I'm going to be formatting them all into audiobooks. I found out that you could do this because there's a YouTube channel that I listen to called Parker Banks, and it's a guy who takes a bunch of, you know, like right-wing texts and books. Like, he's got a lot of Schopenhauer, he's got Curtis Yarvin, he has some Ernst Jünger, you know, he has some Carlyle, he has a lot of stuff. But he has the voice of Orson Welles narrate all of these books, and it's really fun listening to it. So I think I went through the comments on his videos, and he uses 11 Labs large language model. So I'm gonna experiment with using that to turn all of my books into, you know, audio format so that I can listen to them while I'm working, and then on the weekends I can kind of read through them, but most of the information will already be in my head. They finally messaged me back about the voice lessons, but I kind of just decided that I'm just gonna wait until next year, just so I could, essentially so I can save money for the box truck. The 4-week like test, the trial period or whatever, it was like $300 something, and I was like, it's not bad, but I could definitely just put that money away. So that's what I did. And then when I was in my storage unit today, I went and picked up some envelopes so that hopefully if I don't work 100 hours this week, I will have time to write some letters. I think I'm gonna do Mom, Zach and Carolyn, Sedera and Ray, Mason, Mandy, a couple other people, Derek probably. But yeah, that's about all the updates I have. Got kind of a late start on all my chores today, just because I woke up kind of late after drinking heavily. So it's 5:15 and I got at least 30 more minutes on my laundry, And then I gotta get to Romeoville to take a nap before work. But yep, that's all the updates I have for you. Tune in next week, maybe. Maybe I'll, be coming to Lexington if I hear back from my mechanic. If that's the case, I probably won't post a video, but I don't know, I might. We'll see. Peace out.